Hey y'all, it's Stephen Van Kampen-Lewis, and I am going to build a shade house today for the orchids. And so as you can see, I have cleared out this little back corner here, and I'm actually going to use conduit, electrical conduit, and I'll show you what that's made of here in a second. But for size, you can see each one of these is about 10 feet long. And you can see also sort of the area that I'm going to enclose. And so it looks like I'll be able to keep it. This area here will be will stay 10 feet long, but then I'm going to have to clip these two pipes over here. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And then I will also turn the camera around a little bit and show you the thickness of the conduit as well as how to cut it. And so normally what I like to do is show y'all stuff that I'm pretty familiar with, so I can teach you. But this is something that I've never done before, so it'll be brand new to me. I'm probably going to screw it up, but I will let you know how I screw it up so that you don't have to do that in the future. But let me start cutting. But actually, before I do that, I'll show you some of the other materials that I'm going to use, and then I'll start cutting this, cut this sort of end piece off, and then, you know, here are the other pipes. I don't want it to be 10 feet tall. I want it to be 8 feet tall, so that'll give me about 2 feet clearance over top, and so I'll have to cut all of those pipes as well. But the pieces that come off, I'll be able to use as reinforcers. And I'll show you that probably in a separate video because I don't have the materials for the reinforcement, but I can get the frame up today, figure out how long it is, order the shade cloth, and then assemble it over this next coming week. Alright, so I have some stakes. These are old, so I have a new one, but these are kind of rusted, so they're perfect for going in the ground. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer these in the ground once I have the frame set up and the legs cut. And the 3/4 inch conduit will then slide on top, and that'll help keep them in the ground. So rather than just banging these into the ground, which will probably break, it's not super strong, I'll bang these into the ground, slip this over top, and that should hold it in. Maybe not during our worst storms. I'm going to have to figure out a reinforcement of some sort for the worst storms that we have here in southern Texas, which are pretty intense. But it could be as easy as, you know, taking some rope or some chain and bringing it from the frame itself and then down to a bucket full of water, or a cinder block, or even just taking some T-posts and banging it into the ground next to the legs, and then, you know, lashing them together. I think that's probably what I'll do. I want to make it look nice, so I'll have to play with these ideas in my head. But for now, the things that I can do right now are to get it up off the ground, cut these pieces, cut 2 feet off of the legs, each one of the legs, so it's only 8 feet tall. Gives me, like I said, 2 feet of clearance above my head, so I can walk around fairly easily underneath. And then cut these pieces so that they fit, so they're an appropriate length to cover that corner. And then I'll measure how much shade cloth I need. So I'll need the shade cloth to go across the top and then come down on the west side, which is this way, since that western afternoon sun is absolutely brutal here in summer. So I also think I'm going to have, but I don't have yet, but I want to put cattle panel on top, and that way I can hang the catasetums down around the outside, but we'll see. So I showed you the stakes in the ground, I showed you the 3/4 inch electrical conduit. Measuring tape, of course. This is the device that cuts the conduit. It's pretty easy. You take the conduit, put it in here, get this little pizza slicer up here, and then you run circles around the conduit itself. And then the conduit just breaks off. It's pretty easy. The So as you can imagine, I need to make sure that the conduit on top attaches to the legs. So I have these three-way conduit attachment device thingies. You can tell I build a lot of stuff. So I'll have a pole going in here. This will be the legs. And then I'll have a pole in here and a pole in here. So this will be a corner. There'll be 4 of these, of course, as you can imagine. So as you can see, this fits in here like this. Little pizza slicer comes up. You rotate this around, and then you tighten it, and you rotate it around, and you tighten it, and eventually these pop off. And as you can see, it's so easy that a 7-year-old can do it. So the next thing we'll do is we'll cut the top. We'll make sure that these little pieces, little dangly pieces there are going to come off. And then we'll have our structure ready to get in the ground. Like I showed earlier, the next step is to get the legs coming up through here and then the corners coming out here. So that's what we'll do next. Turns out that I got the wrong size. So I'm going to have to send these back and get new ones that are larger. Until next time. Alright, we're back. The next day, it is Sunday, and the correct pieces came in the mail that quickly. So this is really cool. We're going to, you can see the pipes here. We are going to assemble them upside down, actually. And then flip the whole thing over, and then take the stakes, pound them into the ground, and put the poles in and see how it looks. Alright, so I have this thing here, and I loosely put the nuts in, put the bolts and screws together, and then this will clamp down on the actual pipe. Also worth noting is that you need one of these. They didn't send me one of these, so luckily I have some, but I will need that to tighten this down. Alright, so we're going to go over and start setting this up. All right. Next thing we need is a sledgehammer. We're going to take this sledgehammer, drive the spikes into the ground, flip the whole thing over, and see if it works. All right, so we have the structure up, the frame at least. I don't know if this is incredibly janky and was a terrible idea, but I think what I learned was that putting it all together and then flipping it over was a bad idea. And what I should have done is gotten the poles in and then put the roof on. Because that's what we ended up doing in the end. And I don't know, also in retrospect, maybe I should have had helpers that were older than 7 or older than 9. But, you know, I think we have it. So this is part one, right? The next step is, the next step is to show you, hang this right here. Should be kind of cool. But the next other step is I'm going to take these pieces that I cut off and I'll put them here like this as reinforcement. So I got to buy the brackets to attach these, and that'll help pull this whole thing together and keep it from falling over in a windstorm. And then I want to have probably at least one cattle panel across the top, and so that I can hang the catasetums down like this. So the cattleyas will go under here in the shade. I'll have shade across the top and coming down here, which is the west side. And I think I can keep this side open. So this faces south right here. Looking back that way is looking south. So if I keep the plants on the north side and the west side, I don't need a shade cloth on the east side here. I don't need one on the south side, and we should be good. So, step one, part one, down. Video part two will be once I have the cattle panel coming across the top here, the brackets for these supports here, and of course the shade cloth. And quick shot of the garden. Orchids are over there. Sun's going down on a Sunday. Not too shabby. Talk to y'all later.